In this week's episode of my Working with Work series, I'm going to talk to you about priorities. Hello and welcome to episode 11 of my Working with Work series. And in this week's episode, I want to talk to you about priorities and how to manage your priorities on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis. Now, one of the things that I found out about priorities is that your priorities are going to shift almost on a daily basis, certainly on a month-to-month basis. An example of this is what's happened this month for me. This month has been a very busy month with workshops, presentations, book writing, article writing, and of course this YouTube channel. Most of my days, working days, have been between 15 and 16 hours long. But I was aware in February that this was going to happen. Many of the workshops and many of the presentations were particularly time sensitive. Some of them I've known about for 2 or 3 months. Others I only got 10 days notice. But because of my system, I was able to absorb these additional projects and managed to actually get them done, or at least get them prepared. And that's the thing about having a good system and being able to prioritize correctly. Now, everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to have different priorities. So I don't want to go into too many specific examples because your examples are definitely going to be different from my examples. But let's just say that I have a presentation to do on Monday, which is actually true. I have a presentation to do on Monday and I was only asked to do it about 10 days ago. Now, normally I like a 6-week period so that I can do some proper deep thinking about my message and prepare the slides and then have enough time to practice the presentation so that it works and goes off very well. Obviously, in this case, I don't have that time. This, though, is a time-sensitive project. And the client who asked me to do the project is one of my most valuable clients, so I can't say no. Well, I suppose I could say no, but I chose not to say no. Plus, I actually quite like the challenge of a time-sensitive project every now and again. So I accepted the project, I got on with it, and sure enough, apart from about 4 or 5 hours of work I'm going to need to do tomorrow, this presentation is definitely going to be okay. Now, for me, time-sensitive projects have the priority, because they are time sensitive, but once they are completed, I can let them go and we can move on to the next project. But in my normal day-to-day life, when things are not so busy, my priorities is, of course, my family, my work, and my productivity YouTube channel. And those are the 3 main priorities I have. But I have an additional one. This is what I call my lifestyle priorities. One of the things that I like to do, because I love the feeling of being physically fit. I love being able to have that energy that you have when you're physically fit. And so exercise is a very important priority to me. I have a standard, which is exercise a minimum of 4 days a week. And that's usually comprised of 2 runs and 2 circuit training sessions a week. Now, if I can, I'll try and exercise 5 days a week, but I don't usually go beyond that. Now, this month, that has actually had to be one of the things that I had to sacrifice in order to maintain these priorities that I have. But that's okay. 1 month, I look at it as a back off. It's an easy month in terms of exercise. I'm still exercising at least 2 or 3 times a week, but I'm not hitting my target of 4 days a week. But that's okay, because I know that by the end of this month, everything will start quietening down again and I can get back into my 4-day exercise routines again. So sometimes you have to put some of your lifestyle or family priorities to one side to focus on some time sensitive projects, and that's okay. You should allow yourself that kind of flexibility. You know, life is not a sprint. Life is a marathon. It's a long road to go, and from time to time you're going to have to change your priorities just temporarily. But the way to do this, and the only way you're going to be able to do this, is if you have a trusted system that you can see what your priorities are. It's like having a constant reminder about what is important in your life. And this is the really important thing. You have to figure out what is important to you and then make those your priorities. What's important to other people, what's important to your boss, what's important to your company might not necessarily be important to you. So you need to make sure that your priorities are the priority and not other people's priorities. Now, sometimes, as I say, you have to sacrifice your own priorities for a time-sensitive project. That's okay, you can readjust. But remember to review your priorities on a weekly basis so that you can decide what you're going to focus on at any particular time. Now, if you look back through some of these videos in this Working with Work series, you'll see that I've focused on goals, I've focused on the 30-day challenge, and I've also focused in on learning to say no. All of these are part of the prioritizing process. You need to be able to say no. Priorities that like health and fitness priorities, 30-day challenges are brilliant for that because you can actually focus your mind for a month. By the end of the month, you feel so fantastic. You love the fact that you've lost weight and you want to continue. It's become a habit. So think of your priorities as a really important part of your weekly review. I hope you are reviewing weekly. And make sure that you are focused in on the things that are important to you. And as I said, everybody here will have different priorities. Everyone will put something more important than something else. And that's why I don't want to give too many specific examples because people might think, oh, that doesn't refer to me. It refers to all of us. We all have priorities. So make sure that on a weekly basis you're reviewing those priorities, but also at the same time be flexible. Don't allow yourself to get stressed and overwhelmed, and don't allow yourself to be focusing on too many things at one time. It's okay to set aside one of your priorities to be able to focus on a time-sensitive project. That's fine. But remember to review those priorities on a regular basis so that you maintain the things that are important to you. Okay, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I hope you found this episode useful. Join me again in next week's episode, and for the rest of it, I just wish you all a very, very productive week.